All right, y'all. It's May 10th. I just thought I'd do a little garden tour for anybody who might be interested in looking. Right here we have a cover crop. It is iron clay peas and some sorghum and some sweet corn and some brassicas of some sort mixed in. Just doing this to have some roots growing in the ground, hopefully fix a little bit of nitrogen. And once this gets up and running, we'll let our chickens in the chicken tractor come enjoy it. This first row of drip line that you see above the ground, that's some squash and zucchini. Their second round that I just planted hasn't come up yet. This row right here is yard long beans. I've never grown them before, but I thought why not try something new and see what happens. These next two rows are okra. We grow, I think it's burgundy okra, red burgundy. Saved some seed from ours last year and planted these two rows, so it looks like they're up and going. And as we get more hot weather, we should see them start to explode. These next 5 rows are field corn. My daughter picked out a purple variety this year. I think it's called Purple Hopi. So we're gonna grow that, and then everywhere that those skipped, we came back and added some Bloody Butcher corn, just so we can hopefully make full rows and not have to worry about weeds getting everywhere. Next, we have a couple rows of sunflowers. These are the pollenless sunflowers. So we like to make some cut flower bouquets and not have to worry about the pollen getting all over our countertops. Next, we have some zinnias and some marigolds mixed in here. And another section of cover crop. Starting to come up. I've actually watered this one one time. That's why this one's a little taller than the first one that I showed you. Then this row of drip next to it is some loofah gourds. First year growing those. Just thought that might be kind of neat to make some dishwashing sponges out of. And then right here you can see on the right we have our Seminole pumpkins. And on the left we have some spaghetti squash. Then I got a double row of buckwheat right here just to attract some pollinators. We'll actually harvest these seeds and either resow them or maybe grind some into some sort of flour. We got our cucumbers down the middle here. Another row of buckwheat. A row of cantaloupes. A row of watermelons. And then some space for them to run a little bit. And we have our zucchini, and our squash, and our bell peppers, and our jalapenos, and some tomatoes. And that's it for this garden for the first planting of 2025. And then here we are at garden plot number 2. You can see our chickens in the tractor down at the very end. We'll use those to fertilize the garden plots. These first 2 rows are potatoes. They are about done. It's about time for harvest on them, so just got to get the potato plow hooked up on the tractor. We got a few days of rain coming, so we'll wait for that to pass, and then we'll hopefully get them harvested. Then we got a double row of bush beans right here. Now we get into some of our weedy stuff, extra weedy stuff. We got 2 double rows of butter beans down here. The first time we planted them, they didn't germinate that well, but they germinated enough not to start over from scratch, and that's why the middles look so bad, so weedy. But you can see the first ones that we planted are starting to bloom. Let's see. Yeah, let's see some of the blooms on there. So hopefully here in the next month or 2 we'll be eating some fresh butter beans. Then we have this row of bush beans, another double row that we plan to harvest here in the next week or so. They're starting to load up pretty good. So that'll be our first harvest of bush beans this spring. Then here we have a few garlic plants. This was a row of onions and garlic, our allium row. Pulled all the onions yesterday, got a pretty good harvest off of those. So just waiting on this garlic to die back a little bit, and then came through and planted some zipper peas where the onions were. So hopefully, Lord willing, with a little bit of rain and or some irrigation, if we don't get the rain that we expect to, then we will have some of those come up. And if we can fight off the pea curculio and the deer, then maybe we'll get a crop of peas. And then lastly for this one, we have 3 double rows of sweet corn. I can't remember what variety we grew this year, but it's starting to look okay. It's looking fairly green and getting ready to tassel out. And this right here is just an empty row. I did not plant it yet this year. It's got some volunteer peanuts coming back up in it. I think we're gonna get some, put a row of sunflowers down this and just enjoy those for the summer. I don't have anything else that has to go here right now, and I've already run the chickens through here, so I don't want to do peas or something that won't take advantage of all the nitrogen in the soil. So anyways, that's what we got going on in our 2 garden plots. I'll take you over to the orchard and we can see what's happening over there. All right, so we're at the orchard. We'll just kind of go row by row and let you know what we got. As you can see, we got some muscadines, scuppernongs, whatever you want to call them. We got 3 plants on this trellis right here on our first row. I think you can see this, but they are loading up quite nicely this year with flowers. We should have a good harvest. I think these are 3-year-old vines, but they may be in their 4th year. And then yeah, over here we've got some elderberry planting or cuttings that we planted this year. One there and one there. This one looks pretty poor. The deer came and were so gracious enough to prune it for us. So we'll see. It looks like it's trying to put out some new growth on top of that. We've had a pretty dry spring so far, and I just do not irrigate the orchard very often at all. Right here we have a Fuyu persimmon that was just put in this year. Excited to see what that does. We have a lot of native persimmons growing wild out here. So my thought is that if I have this Fuyu, I can use the, I can take some cuttings off of it or some scions off of it and graft over some of our native persimmons into ones that are better eaten anyways. And here we have a lemon tree. I think this might be a Grand Frost lemon. You can see we're starting to get some fruit. This will be the 2nd fruiting year for this tree. I think we got 7 or 8 or 9 lemons off of it last year. And we've got a plum tree over here that I just put in. This is a AU rubrum. Might be saying that wrong, but that's the way I say it. So just put it in this year. It's leafed out and it's starting to grow pretty well. Next we have our blackberries. They're loaded this year, blooming like crazy. And then we have a bunch of fruit showing up. This plant is always our earliest plant. Puts off these nice big inch-long berries. And you can see they're starting to turn. Tastes pretty good. Here's our other next earliest. And then we have, we'll end up getting blackberries off of these vines probably now till first frost or close to it. We have our blueberry plants next to those. We haven't mastered the art of blueberries yet. They don't seem to grow quite as well as everything else. I don't know if our pH is a little too neutral for them. If they need it to be a little more acidic, we've generally got pretty acidic soil here. But anyways, that's what we got. We'll see. This is the third growing season for some of these and the first for others. We've got a few peaches over here. They're looking pretty good. We got our first harvest off of them last year. That was year 2 for them, I believe. And we got about a 5-gallon bucket off of them. I don't expect that this year, even though the fruit is there. But we don't spray as much as anything, just because I'm lazy and can't find the time. So because we don't spray, I don't know what we'll get off of them. We just kind of take what we can get and go from there. We have an apple tree right here. I think this is a Granny Smith, planted last year. We have a fig here, maybe a LSU purple, I believe is what that is. Another plum over here. And then we have some mulberries that I took cuttings from. These make a small berry, maybe a 1/2 inch kind of at tops, but they're really good and they're very prolific. We have Arkansas black apple. This one died way back, not quite to the roots, still above the graft last year, but it's coming back now. Then we have our pears. These are 2nd-year pears. This one is a Dixie Delight from the Wildlife Group, and this one, I cannot remember what it is. But you can see they're starting to put their first crop of pears on. Moon Glow, that's what that one is. And then lastly, we've got a couple Illinois ever-bearing figs. So the deer have again pruned this one up for us a little bit, as you can see, but the fig tree just keeps on growing. They are quickly becoming one of my favorite fruit trees. My plan is to plant them in here. I call this my chicken garden or my pig garden. It'll just be planted with a cover crop, but I've got this space fenced in the middle of it. I'd like to plant a few mulberries or some kind of mass-producing tree in. So yeah, that's the end of the orchard. And lastly, we come to our pigs. Our chickens are in here too. So we have our big girl, our sow. Her name is Spotty. And then we have corn dog, a Patches, and a Cookie. Cookie's our little gilt. We're debating on whether or not we want to keep her for breeding or if she's going to go to the butcher. And then corn dog and Patches are definitely going to freezer camp at some point. We're actually raising one of them for somebody else, and we have a butcher date for the end of June. And then the other one will be for us this fall, so we'll process it here on the farm. So other than that, we just let our chickens free range out here. This is about 1.5 acres fenced in. We fenced it in last fall, and so we just kind of let them do their thing throughout here. They kind of eat whatever the pigs eat whenever we come bring them food, and other than that, they just scratch and forage and do their thing. So that's our farm.